There's a debate right now in our country over fast fashion. The inexpensive, easily accessible clothing comes with a bit of baggage, which is excess waste and harmful emissions. Vanessa Mishanya met a man who believes that his unique business model could be an eco-friendly option that is made right here in America.
Old tablecloths, old bed sheets.
He's tucked away in his half studio, half showroom space.
The way that it was woven is just like kaleidoscopic, like almost psychedelic. It's hard to believe that this was done in like the 1800s.
Sam Zollman shows off a collection of fabrics, fasteners, and vintage sewing machines that could easily be mistaken for a museum collection.
Definitely pre-1900. Some of them are like old underwear buttons, actually, which is kind of funny. I pick and choose who I tell that to.
Instead, these materials and tools are the palette and brush to his aptly named clothing company.
This probably took me like a few weeks to find, 12 hours to cut and sew. It's a slow process. I say that I'm fixing the male uniform, taking classic menswear silhouettes, but I'm trying to impart on them like a beauty and softness.
It's not just the male uniform Sam is bent on fixing with slow process, but also to prove that a clothing company can be successful when it sticks to sustainability, both in small-scale production and fair labor, as well as in the sourcing of fabrics by repurposing what was already in existence.
We could stop clothing production for like 100 years and still have tons of fabric to choose from.
It is a really big issue.
Marina McCoy is a zero-waste expert. She says our country has a huge problem when it comes to overconsumption of clothing. Most fast fashion items from big brands are only worn an average of 5 times before they're thrown away. She says clothes may look neat and manicured on shelves, but the means it takes to get them there creates unnecessary waste, even in secondhand stores.
In the United States, when we donate articles of clothing, only 10% of that actually gets resold.
The convenience of buying clothes online and making returns is another culprit to the creation of clothing waste. Most items we return go into the landfill.
5 billion pounds of waste is created just from returns alone, and that equals 3.5 billion products. When things are just as easy as clicking a button and then you're done checking out, that has the biggest impact on waste.
So you have to go really slowly with this type of machine. Another way in which this is a slow process.
Reversing the clothing consumption trend will not be a quick fix. Quite the opposite, actually. But what Marina says, what we can do is begin to educate ourselves about the issue and also research the places we choose to make a purchase from, bringing mindfulness into the act of buying.
We can help solve it and substantially reduce it, even though it seems very, very overwhelming.
This has been my slow process, and I'm hoping that the clothes kind of help people along in their own slow process and appreciating clothing again.
While Sam continues to create at his own pace, he hopes to inspire other makers and consumers to look at production and purchasing in a much slower, sustainable way than the previously accepted status quo.
The point of it is that it's made with my 2 hands, maybe in time 1 or 2 other people. The intention is to keep it small, and I think that is what growth really means.
I'm Vanessa Mishanya reporting.
The technology helping an American RV business keep up with demand. You're watching The Race.